Man like Robbie, welcome along to MLR Daily. Lots of transfer news around today, and a big one is about Neymar. Now, it links Neymar with a move to Manchester United, and it says that Manchester United are willing to meet the 200 million euros release clause. 200 million. It's absolutely incredible, the figures that are being bandied around nowadays. But Neymar, of course, one of the hottest properties in world football. Remember, he's still only 25. And, you know, at Barcelona, they look at him and they say to themselves, he's going to be the guy that's going to be taking over from Messi. Remember, Messi's now into his 30s. But Manchester United are really, really interested, apparently, in bringing him to Old Trafford. They're willing to pay him £25 million as well per season. For wages, you know, they're willing to do whatever it takes to bring him, you know, to Old Trafford. If you know, listening to the rumours that are out there regarding this thing, they've been linked with him before. And of course, you know, it does look like Manchester United at the moment are trying to go for this sort of Galactico model, what we've seen over the years at Real Madrid. They already, of course, have Pogba. They've been linked with guys like Griezmann. And listen, Mourinho always likes a big signing, but this would eclipse everything that Manchester United have done in the past. It would eclipse the Pogba deal, and it would be absolutely huge. The thing is, would Barcelona be willing to sell Neymar? Now, you look at it and you say to yourself, well, they could afford to. They've got Messi, they've got Suarez, they can buy other players, but Neymar is such a marketable player. You know, he is going to be the next big thing. He's already brilliant. He's already an outstanding player. He's done so many things for his country. And that's why he seems like an old player, or an older player, should I say, because he's done so much already in his career. But there are people that are suggesting to Neymar that maybe he should come out of the shadow a bit of Messi and sort of make his name for himself. You know, he is a brilliant player. We saw how he was integral in getting Barcelona through in the last round of the Champions League. But there's some people suggesting to him that, listen, maybe if you weren't playing alongside Messi and you were playing, you know, for a club like Man United or somewhere like that, you'd be able to make your own name. You'd be able to start winning the Ballon d'Or yourself instead of, you know, being sort of, well, a bit part player is a ridiculous thing to say, but being just part of a great team. So we're going to have to watch this space in the summer, because it'd be really interesting to see what Neymar and his representatives would do if that release clause is triggered by Manchester United. But that is what the rumour is. United have got the muscle to do it. They've got the money to do it. Let's see what happens. It's probably one of the only clubs in the world, apart from, say, PSG, that he could go to that would be able to meet all of his wage demands and meet the release clause at the moment. Certainly Real Madrid, you know, they'd probably be interested, but there's no way that Barcelona would sell him to Real Madrid. But let's watch this space on that. It's going to be a hot summer with some of these transfers. Another one that's looking like it could be a real saga over the summer is Eden Hazard. Now, Hazard has been linked for a long time with a move to Real Madrid. It's back all over the papers today. Marca, the sort of the official mouthpiece of Real Madrid, they've been going on about it. And again, they're saying that if Real Madrid was to put in a bid of about £90 million, which would be, you know, just a little bit more than the Pogba deal, that Chelsea would be willing to sell the 26-year-old player. Now, he's been brilliant for Chelsea this season. He was terrible last season when he just literally said, I'm not playing for Mourinho. But since Conte's come on the scene, he's been back to his brilliant best. I was at Stamford Bridge to see him score that brilliant goal against Arsenal. He's been integral in everything that Chelsea have done this season. Now, would Chelsea sell him? That is the question. I think Hazard would probably be the sort of player, you know, judging off of his past character, that would be willing to go to a team like Real Madrid. But would Chelsea sell him? Remember, Chelsea are not the sort of club that are short of a few bobs, so they don't have to sell. But again, this is another one of those transfer rumours that is going to be bubbling up right throughout the summer. Thierry Henry, really interesting yesterday. He was being interviewed by the French outlet Canal Plus, and they were asking him about rumours linking him with a move to taking over as after Arsene Wenger goes at Arsenal. Thierry Henry sort of suggesting that, listen, I'd be open to going to Arsenal, you know, as a manager, but listen, I've still got to learn my trade here for Belgium. Of course, he's the assistant manager in Belgium alongside Roberto Martinez. And he's saying, listen, I still need to learn my trade here. I've still got work to do here. But one day, you never know, I wouldn't mind taking over at Arsenal. So there are sort of, it's interesting at Arsenal that there are candidates from that Invincibles era that, you know, could take over from Arsene Wenger. You've got Thierry Henry, you've got Patrick Vieira, who's doing management at the moment. You've got Dennis Bergkamp, who's also doing management, but on a lesser scale for Ajax. So there are candidates if Arsenal did want to sort of go with that sort of ex-player mode. The one thing seems to be really strange over the years is that Arsene Wenger hasn't really involved any of these ex-players. I mean, Thierry Henry was involved for a little bit at Arsenal, but then they gave him an ultimatum and said, listen, either you work here full-time with the youngsters, or, you know, if you're going to do your Sky and this, you can't do that. And Thierry Henry decided to leave. Now, it's very strange that he's working assistant manager at Belgium and they're willing to put up with that, but Arsenal weren't. Really has been a strange thing over the years that Arsene Wenger's not really seemed to want to involve any of these ex-players, but that's a whole nother issue, maybe over on Arsenal Fan TV. And finally, a crazy game last night, crazy friendly, played over there in France last night. It was a friendly between the Ivory Coast and Senegal, and it descended into mayhem on the pitch. The referee abandoned the game in the 88th minute after many fans got onto the pitch, invaded the pitch. Now, one fan even rugby tackled one of the Ivory Coast players, which is, you know, especially when you know, the terrorism that's gone on recently in France, even over here in England, and that, it's really worrying scenes to see that. There was many fans that, you know, climbed over some of the fencing and that and got into the ground. It was just a real mess. These two teams have got a history of this before as well. They've played previous friendlies before in Africa when, you know, the crowd threw rocks and stones and bottles onto the pitch and the game had to be abandoned then. So this really worrying scenes, and you know, the authorities did get a hold of some of these characters and get them off the pitch, but worrying when you think that there was, you know, a few Premier League players out on that pitch last night. Sadio Mane of Liverpool, of course, he plays for Senegal. There was Eric Bailly from Manchester United, plays for Ivory Coast. Wilfried Zaha from Palace, another Ivory Coast player. So really worrying scenes to see that happen, and a fan get on the pitch and rugby tackle a player. I mean, it's just disgusting. And, you know, I just hope that these fans will get the book thrown right at them, because it's just totally unacceptable behaviour. Thanks for watching the show today. We'll be back tomorrow with more MLR Daily.
Man like Robbie.